Okay.
We'll get started in just a moment here, folks. How are we doing this evening, folks? Good! Great! My name is Nicholas. I'm joined up here by Maverick, Christian, and Jacob. They're going to be loading the Canon. Before we do that, we're going to have to discuss these uniforms that we are wearing. This is the dress uniform of the U.S. Army during the 1880s. This is a uniform you'd see featured here at Fort Mackinac, as it served as the headquarters of the nation's second national park. Now, the soldiers stationed here at Fort Mackinac, in theory, would be taking care of that national park, as there was no National Park Service at the time. However, I say in theory for a reason. Again, these were active duty soldiers. They're going to be more preoccupied with other military duties. These things are going to be like fatigue duty, manual labor for about 4 to 6 hours every day, taking care of the fort and the surrounding areas. They're also going to be doing marksmanship training, going out to the 2 ranges here on the island, practicing with their rifles at least twice a week. They're also going to be doing guard duty, which is what we're going to kind of talk about here with this Canon. It's going to be that guard duty. This is going to be a 24-hour shift, 2 hours on the walls, 2 hours off the walls. And during that shift, there's going to be a small detail assigned to firing salute shots. Now, a salute shot is most typically going to be 2 shots a day. It's going to be a cannon firing during the raising of the flag at reveille, and a cannon firing during the lowering of the flag at retreat. Is essentially going to signal the beginning and the end of the workday for the soldiers here. Now, they're going to be firing salute shots with a cannon like this. This is the model 1841 6-pound smoothbore field gun. And that's quite a long title, but the part you're looking to pay attention to is that model 1841 part. We are representing soldiers from the late 1880s. This is a cannon from the early 1840s. Why are the soldiers here at Fort Mackinac using a gun that's going on 50 years old? That's a great question with a pretty simple answer. This was a national park. You don't really have to worry about Canada coming and invading or anything like that. The most you have to worry about is maybe a rude tourist, which all of you folks don't seem to be, and a fire or maybe a drunk soldier, but that's it. However, if you were to fire a cannon like this live, the furthest you'd be able to fire it is about a mile, or to the shores of Round Island out there. However, again, this is a smooth bore, so the inside of the barrel is about as smooth as it is on the outside. To be a little more accurate, you'd want to stay within the half-a-mile range, or to the white lighthouse there out in the harbor. But with that being said, they're also going to fire salute shots on other occasions, such as the 4th of July. They'll fire a national salute, which is going to be 1 cannon shot per state in the Union. And as of 1889, there were 38 states in the United States. So they would go ahead and fire 38 shots at the best time to fire a cannon, the crack of dawn. So if you didn't know it was the 4th of July, you definitely did. And they're also going to fire a national salute for Decoration Day, or what we might know as Memorial Day nowadays. But they'll also fire salute shots for more mournful occasions, such as the death of former president and famous Civil War General Ulysses S. Grant. Presidents will be allotted a certain amount of salute shots for their passing. So for Grant, they will fire a 13-shot salute in the beginning of the day to represent the original 13 colonies of the United States. Then they'll fire a salute shot every half hour, and then finish off the day with one of those 38-shot national salutes. They're also going to fire a salute shot at one point here in April of 1886 to celebrate the first ferry of tourists arriving here on the island after quite a long and hard winter. With that being said, I would like to carry on that tradition of firing salute shots for all of you folks. How does that sound? Yeah. All right, great. With that being said, this is a muzzle loader, so it's quite an involved process, but that will begin with the command of load. From there, Christian is going to approach the rear of the cannon and cover the touch hole with his thumb, which is essentially going to create an airtight seal a little bit later on. But from there, Jacob is going to send down our wet sponge, which is going to essentially be kind of making a seal with the command of sponge. Now, like I said, that's going to be creating a seal. He will dip that sponge into water and then send it down the barrel. That's going to drive out any oxygen in the barrel. That's going to ensure that if there is any debris in the barrel, it is no longer flaming. So when we go ahead and send down our charge, it doesn't just explode. Now, our charge is going to be about 4.5 ounces of gunpowder wrapped in historically inaccurate tin foil. Now, of course, they wouldn't be using tin foil back then. It would be something more like muslin cloth or wool flannel. That tends to smolder and burn, and we don't want to have to deal with that. But with that being said, I'll give the command, ram. Jacob is going to ram the charge all the way to the back, and from there, we're going to be able to be going to our next command of ready. From there, those two will clear the gun, and which will leave Christian to kind of do the rest of our work. He's going to send the gimlet down the touch hole, which is essentially just a fancy name for a brass spike. From that point, he will retrieve our priming device. That is going to be a friction primer. Now, the friction primer is going to work as so. It will be a copper tube with a little bit of gunpowder in it. On the top will be a bit of mercury fulminate. That's going to be something similar to a strike anywhere match. It's very friction sensitive. And there will be a pin sticking out of that mercury fulminate. So when the pin is pulled, it will create a spark which will set off the gunpowder charge. Now from here, we really only have one command left to fire, but before we do so, I will have to advise you folks, this is a cannon. It will be quite loud. So I'll have to ask you to please plug your ears or press record on your phones, wherever your priorities lie. But with that being said, we have one command left, which is fire!
Cool, yay! What do you think, Stel? That's it? That's it? That wasn't so bad, right?
It was loud. It was
It was loud.
But immediately after